Yeah, this is your homegirl, Adavia Barbosa, 914, which is County, New York. Doing another live video real quick. Another live video real quick. I'm not going to be here that long. I'm not going to be up here that long. That's why I did not drop the link. That's why I did not do anything but the link. The link will be up in my ass. Well, no, I'm not going to drop the link this time. But I've been looking on these YouTube streets and I've been watching everyone for quite a while. Quite a while. And I'm like, damn, different battles going on, different wars going on. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. This is your homegirl, Arabia Barbosa 914, which is the county of New York. Yo, we do another video real quick. But one thing I want to say about the YouTube battles, the YouTube street wars that's going on, it is what it is. And a shout out to the chat. Nobody has any control over that. Nobody can do anything about it. But I remember when I was a young girl living in New York, and there was one weekend that something happened. And I'm going to give you a complete description of what happened. See, I used to go to school in the public school system of Westchester County, New York. It might have been Mount Vernon, might have been New Rochelle, might have been White Plains, might have been wherever I was at. But usually when a child is not attending classes, they cut class, they're not attending school like that, who comes out? It was the truant officers that used to come for us. It was the truant officers that used to come for us. Shout out to the chat. And there was plenty of times I used to cut school because I wanted to drop out of school when I was 13 years old. I already knew how to read, write, comprehend. I already knew how to count money. So what other need did I need to go to school for? What was the other need? There was no other need, only for control. Yeah, because the public school in Mount Vernon or New Rochelle or White Plains or Westchester County, period, is different from the city. Shout out to the chat. At least Baltimore, Maryland, got a different system of how to deal with children that go into public school. You got to make 2 days out of the month. In New York, you had to attend at least 15 days, 15, 20 days. Then you can cut school, whatever. If you was not in school, the beginning of the month, they would send letters to your parents. Like, yo, this child ain't been to school. We already informed the truant officers, the Department of Juvenile, juvenile justice. For children not going to fucking school, they used to have that for you. If you did not go to school and you kept missing school days, what they would do, they would put you in a juvenile facility. Shout out to the chat. During my day, if you was like, okay, let's say you leave from your mama house, right? And you go onto the street, you meeting up with your little friends. Your little friend said, well, I don't feel like going to school. I'm going to go back to my house. They make sure their parents ain't dead. So you did at your friend's house all day until maybe, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, she already telling you, by 3:10, you need to start walking up the street so you can get back to your house. Little did we know that the schools were sending out the letters to our parents, so-called parents. I didn't have no parents. I had guardians. A shout out to the chat. I had guardians. I didn't have no parents. Where was my fucking parents? Where were they? Sitting in somebody's pool hall, sitting in somebody's hospital, sitting in somebody's road. You know, my father, my biological father, was a heroin addict. He used to go down to Harlem, New York, go into this building. It was called Castle Grayskull. They called it Castle Grayskull. One way in, one way out. The only way to get into that building is to do the password. My father always knew the passwords. Shout out to the chat. I remember them days when I used to cut school. I used to not even go to school. Fuck school. I started cut. Even if I was in school, I would cut classes. Cut classes. So I didn't have to be in the fucking classroom I didn't want to be in. And shout out to the chat. I started making my decisions then, what to do with my life. And I knew it wasn't about school. I hated school. I hated my teachers. I hated my counselors. I hated everybody that was a part of the school system. Because as far as I was concerned, they was a part of the problem. They was the biggest part of my problem. Shout out to the chat. Now, let me see. I didn't drop the link, but I'm going to drop the link. Anybody want to come up? Come up and talk about your school experiences. Because I'm telling all my shit. Nobody else want to tell this shit. They won't want to talk shit about me. Well, Arabia want to talk shit. But she don't let nobody on her channel. I do let people on my channel. I let people hit my link. When I was going to school in New York, at 13 years old, I wanted to drop out of fucking school. Because I already knew how to read. I already knew how to comprehend. I already knew how to count money. So I wanted to leave school. I did not want to go to school anymore. At 14 years old, you can get your working papers in New York back in that time. In New York, you could get your working papers at 14 years old. You know, my parents wouldn't sign it. The guardians that had me, I call them guardians. Because they were never my parents. They never loved me. They never cared about me. They just wanted the cash, the checks they were getting from the state, the federal government. That's what they wanted. They didn't want us. They wanted what the state was giving them. And the only thing the state told them when I was in foster care, do not get attached to these children. They will go back to their parents. My parents never came. My father, he was strung out on drugs, going back and forth to jail. He didn't give a fuck about nothing. When he did get himself together, it was already too late. He lost custody of me. They already terminated his parental rights. They terminated my mother's parental rights. That's how we was able to go up for adoption. We sat in foster care for 10 years, almost 10 years. My parents never came back. Never. And you know, animals don't treat their children like that. They don't. Cats don't treat their children like that. Dogs don't treat their children like that. Rats don't treat their children like that. No other creature on earth treat their children like the way certain people in the United States treat their children. Some people are unequipped. I don't mean no harm. My mother was a young woman when she started having children. My mother should have been sterilized at 5 years old. I don't give a fuck. She should have went under the sterilization program. A shout out to the chat. That's the way I feel. That's the way I feel. That's the way I fucking feel. My mother should have been sterilized and circumcised from the age of 5 years old. That way she could never bring any more children into the world. Why are you bringing us here? Bringing us here for the hurt and the hate and the confusion. That's what you brought us here for, bitch. And people wonder why I wanted to beat that bitch up. Yeah, I beat her. Yeah, I got a jump off in my stuff when I did it. Shout out to the chat. But now we got other YouTube creators think they my mama. You think you my mama? You think you're my auntie? Okay. All right. I'll listen to you for a little bit, but when I get tired of you, when I get tired of you, you see what's going to happen? Shout out to the chat. I got mommy issues. It was another person on YouTube, under another YouTube creator, said, Arabia got mommy issues. Mommy issues means I don't trust anyone. And from my earliest experience, anytime anyone says, I'm getting ready to retire, I'm getting ready to do this, I'm getting ready to do that, I already think they are abandoning me. I already think that's what is in my mind. You are leaving. You are abandoning me. You're leaving me out here by myself. No way in the world I would have ever did my children like that. If I would have had one child, I've probably been too overprotective over my children. My children probably couldn't even breathe right without me getting into the room and say, who breathing crazy? Who looking crazy? Oh, y'all better not go to that schoolhouse. Y'all better sit in here and look at this computer. That's the way I would have did my children. But it would have been a disservice. It would have been a disservice. Because I remember one of my brothers, he was in high school and he found this young lady, very beautiful. I met her years ago. Very beautiful lady. Very beautiful. You know my brother did? He went out there, made some money, bought a ring. He was going to ask the woman to marry him. That's how much in love with women he really was at that time. When she turned him down, she didn't even turn him down. She just took whatever he gave her. Whatever the fuck he gave her, that's what the bitch took. And I tried to warn him. I said, that's not the woman for you. That's not the woman for you. She might be pretty. She might be light skinned. She might got freckles. She might got red hair. It doesn't matter about that. It's her inner soul, her spirit. Her spirit doesn't entwine with you. You will not marry this woman. He wanted to marry her. He loved her. And see, this is how our men get hurt. This is how young boys get hurt. They find one young girl, one young female they are in love with. They're crazy about. They want to be around that woman 24/7. And when they find out that they got to provide for the woman, you know what they do? They go and get a little job. I don't care if it's turning cans. I don't care if it's landscaping. I don't care if it's cutting hair. I don't care if it's washing windows, washing dishes. If a man is in love with a woman, even a young boy, if he's in love with another female, they will do whatever they have to get that female. But let me tell you something. Let me put something in your pipe so you can smoke it. Let me put something in your heart so you can listen. When a young girl disappoints a young man, the young man can be 14, 15 years old, 16 years old. If you hurt that man hard, guess what? His heart hardens against all other females. He might get other women different chances, but guess what? He's going to try to control the narrative. It's me, Arabia Barbosa. I got one brother from my father, from my mother. And what we do when we get into a relationship, we try to control the narrative because we don't want to get hurt again. We don't want to get disappointed again. We don't want to get set up again. This is what happens to us, the ones that truly love people. We are being punished. We're not being rewarded. We're not like the rest of these drop shot, no name, off brand, drag nasty motherfuckers on YouTube. We got sexual deviants, sexual offenders on YouTube that's being rewarded for the bullshit they doing. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. I'm not going to do no roll call, but thank everyone for coming in. Like and share the video. I appreciate your view. I appreciate your view. But we're going to talk about this shit. We're going to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Because when our young men fall in love, and I got nephews. Going crawling close to that age where they're going to ask a young woman to marry them. You see how deep my family get? When we love somebody, we want to be with you forever and ever until the universe calls us back. That's what we do. We're not cheaters. We're not natural cheaters, haters. We're not that. We will never be that. I've done some stuff in my life, but it was never a part of me to do that. I had to do what I had to do because I wanted love and acceptance. But my love and acceptance wasn't coming at that time. Now my time is to talk to my nieces and nephews, to let them know what love is and what it ain't, what it look like and what it don't look like. Shout out to the chat. Because we got a bunch of young men coming right behind me. Young men looking for not a girl they can just flirt with or play with. They want a wife. If that young girl can cook or clean, just like her grandma or her great grandma, that's what the young man want. Sometimes these young boys, they go to these young girl house just to see what the house look like. Do they got dishes in the sink? Do they got this and that going on? I want my nephews to be prepared. I want them to be prepared because it's going to be some bitches out here that's going to destroy your heart. I got brothers and all their hearts were destroyed by different women in their lives. Yes, the women be hurting us, damaging us. That's why sometimes one of my nephews like, Anna baby is a lesbian. Oh my goodness, I hope she's married. He hoping I would be married. He's hoping that there is another woman in the house with a female energy, a female spirit, that he'll come over here and be like, hey, Anna, baby, I just come to visit you. And where your homegirl at? Where your wife at? Where your wife? That's what my sisters are looking for. That's what my nieces, in a few more years, a couple of my nieces going to start looking for the female counterpart of me, Arabia Barbosa. They want to know who I'm married to, who I'm sleeping with. I might get another 2 years to play this off. But I need another woman. Shout out to the chat. It's not nobody's fault. I met women and they have hurt me. They have used me. And we have gone through the ringer with those women. I have done it. I've done my dirt. I've done my diligence. I need my flowers. And in the back of my mind, I did not know. I did know, but I didn't want to accept that I have nephews and I got nieces looking at me. And they said, Aunt Arabia lives her life like a man. She does everything like a man does, even though she's not a man. She don't have the strength, capacity to be a man. Where is Aunt Arabia's wife? Where is she? Because that's the softer part of myself. They want a soft pillow, someone they can talk to. They can't talk to me. Not about sex, not about life, not about nothing. Because I'm always going to be jaded against those same subjects I'm bringing up. Only my female counterpart can soften the blow. Of course she's gonna ride with that. Any woman I get married to, any woman I date, long-term dating, and my niece and nephews meet those people, they be like, when is Aunt Baby gonna get married? When's she gonna claim the bride? I don't have to get married to a woman in church or in a courtyard, a court house procedure. I don't have to get married. I can get married in my own spirit and my own mind with the woman I want. I'm not looking out for me so much. It's the next generation coming after me, and I forgot all about them. Forgot all about them. Until one day, one of my nieces called me and said, Honor, baby, I want to ask you about certain things, about women, because she was getting involved with women at that time. It didn't mean that she didn't love her mother. It didn't mean that she didn't love her mother. She loved her mother. She loved her grandmother. She loved her aunts and uncles and her cousins and everything, but she got hurt. And she didn't want to be like her mama. Her mama is very pretty, very beautiful. A Taurus woman. A woman in her 40s, a woman that's a veteran. Shout out to the chat. My niece didn't want to get hurt like her mama did. And she saw there was less problems in my life because I don't have a whole bunch of stuff mixing up in my life. And she called me one day. She said, Aunt Arabia, how do you do it? My best way to say how to do it is to respect the woman and do what you need to do to support the woman. Don't let her take advantage of you. It's 50-50. This new generation, it's got to be 50-50 or nothing at all. If she doesn't have anything to bring to the plate, she doesn't have anything to bring to the table, do not get involved with this woman. Do not talk to her. Do not try to date her. Do not try to do anything. Leave that alone. Don't pick the woman. Let the woman pick you. Or sometimes you will have to come and search out for who you want. But be prepared. That's why I tell the ones that's in my family as gay, especially the young women. Oh yeah, we are a lot of young women in my family that are gay. And they are gay because the men have disappointed them. The men have let them down. The men did not protect them. I remember a couple of years ago, I was sleeping in the bed. There was a noise going on. The woman rose up faster than the man. Faster than the man. got up out of the goddamn bed, pushed me out of the goddamn way, opened up the goddamn door, approached the window, approached the door, and talk all kind of shit. Naked. No robe on, no gun in her hand, no knife, no nothing. Just her goddamn mouth was enough. And we got a lot of young women got that same spirit, same power. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, I got a whole other generation looking at me. Aunt Arabia, there's no boyfriend around Aunt Arabia. There's no girlfriend around Aunt Arabia. What is wrong? And I tell them, I can't get along with them motherfuckers. They were traitors. They didn't believe in me. They just wanted to take. Sometimes there's people in your life that only want to take advantage of you. They have nothing to give. They have nothing to offer. Nothing. Shout out to the chat. It's not everyone. It's just a few. Crabs in the barrel is what the black community is. And so is the white community. And so is the Hispanic community. So is every other community. But they focus on the black community. You know why they focus on us? Because we was first. We bore everybody into the fucking world. We are the mother and father of every civilization, every ethnic group that's on the world, on the planet. We are the mothers and fathers. Even the mothers and fathers can lose their way. They can become blinded to greed or lust or whatever it is. Shout out to the chat. It happens. Letitia, I promise you, a lot of the women in my family, especially the younger generation, they don't want no man. They don't want no man. They look at their fathers. The fathers were failures. The fathers did not protect their families. The fathers attacked the mother. You know how many times my sisters was attacked? How many times my aunts was attacked, my cousins, myself? But I fought back. And my sisters that I was raised with, they fight back. One sister in particular I was not raised with. That's my biological sister. She fights back. It's the women in my family that don't fight back. Those are the ones I'm worried about. Those are the ones I'm worried about. I ain't worried about the young woman that might be a lesbian. She might be a lesbian not because she hates her mother, not because she has a problem with her mother. She loves her mother, but she's afraid of men. And she sees men as being aggressives. And she sees men as being a threat because that's what they treated her mother, her aunts, her cousins. You know, a man killed Sergeant Crystal Reagan years ago. It was a man that did that. That's when my niece started formulating her own opinion about men. She got uncles. She's not close to the uncles. She's close to her mother, close to her aunts, close to her cousins. Shout out to the chat. It's not the women so much that push their children to be gay. It's the men. It's your behavior. You beta males. I look at my niece and I see a very beautiful woman, a very smart woman, a very intelligent woman, a woman that can actually help you. But people only take advantage of her if they find out her weakness. And she has no weakness. She better not have no fucking weakness. She better go on in life like ain't nothing going on. I'm 50 years old. That young woman, that young woman is not even yet in her 30s. Shout out to the chat. I got a lot of nieces looking at the men in their lives, their fathers, the grandfather, whoever, uncles. They're not close to the males. They're more close to the females. And most of my sisters, whether it's biological or adoptive, my sisters are very protective over their children. They're very supportive of their children. Shout out to the chat. One of my sisters reminds me of brown skinned lady. Got the same voice, same mannerism, same everything, same attitude. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, I remember when I was living in New York, I used to wake up 2 o'clock in the morning. Going, my mother used to work overnights at the hospital. Shout out to her, rest in peace, mama. And I used to turn on the TV. I would turn it down real low so nobody could hear. But I was watching the Kung Fu movie that was going on, or the music videos that was going on, because we had cable at that time. And my sister, she used to get up, little tourist, little girl, and she, Arabia. Yeah. I give her a bottle and all that, and we'll sit up there and watch the TV together until we heard some noises coming from the stairs. We turned off the TV and pretended that we were asleep. That's what we did. Oh my God. And to this day, that woman is a veteran. The woman got 4 children. One of her children at college. The other 2 get ready to move out of the house in a little while. Shout out to the chat. But yeah, I remember my younger days living in New York, 2 o'clock in the morning, watching music videos, had to turn down the volume real low so nobody else could hear. And there was this Kung Fu show that used to come on. Same dude that was in Kill Bill movies, he was in those shows. He was in the Kung Fu show. And he used to go on different, missions and all that, doing his little Kung Fu everywhere. And me and my sister used to watch him. And she was a little girl then. She was very little. She was not even 1 year old then. But she understood the power of the TV. She understood the power of the radio. She understood the power of words, the power of books. She understood. Because when she got grown, she went into the military, went into the army. You know how many women in that community went into the military? And some of them are still there. You know why they're there? Because they didn't want to become another Arabia Barbosa. They didn't want to become another me. They know my story. They know my pain. They know my frustration. Those women didn't want to become another Arabia Barbosa. So what did they do? They all went into the fucking military. All of them. We got Air Force women. We got Navy women. We got Marine women. We got women that's in the Army. We got Air Force women. We got merchant Marine women. You know why they went into those avenues of their lives? They chose those roads to go down because they didn't want to become another me. Arabia Barbosa. Those young women didn't want to become another me. They saw I didn't have any. When I came back home from prison, when I came back home to the funeral of Sergeant Crystal Reagan and my niece and my nephews, those women looked at me and they said, "Oh my God, Arabia is close to her 40s. We don't want to be another Arabia Barbosa." They invite me to their homes. At that particular time, I talked to every last one of them. Said, "Arabia, what went wrong? What happened?" I said, "Don't matter what happened. You know the story. You know the story." Thank God none of those women became me. I don't want no woman to become another Arabia Barbosa. My days is over. It's time for a new generation. But I want the whole world to know that those women that my younger sisters grew up with, all of them made something out of themselves. All of them. Some went to college. Most of them went into the military. A lot of those young women went into the fucking military because they knew I couldn't go. They knew I wanted to serve. They are living my life, my dream life. They're living it. Whether something is going good or wrong, they don't want me to know. They want me to see them as the women they were when I first met them. And I met all those women when they were young girls. They saw what pathway I was taking. And they said, "Well, we don't want to be like Arabia Barbosa. We want to do something different." That's exactly what the fuck they did. Shout out to them for having the courage to go against the grain, go against what the universe probably gave them. They went against. They fought every day. Some of them went to college. Some of them went into the military. Most of them went into the military. Came back a few years later. Look at all these women. They are success stories. They are success. Anytime they see me, they say, "Well, Arabia, thank you for giving me the courage. Thank you for showing me what not to become." And they all did it. And they did it well. Shout out to the chat. That's what they did. And I congratulate them. I love them. I love them all. And they know I'm proud of them. They know. Because they did not become the next Arabia Barbosa. They did not get involved with the streets. They did not go to fucking jail. They did not go to fucking prison. They didn't go in and out of mental hospitals or rehabs. Those places are places of failure. I failed. At least those young women didn't. And these women are now in their 40s. In their 40s. And when they do their birthday parties, they light a candle and say, "Thank God we did not become Arabia Barbosa. We did not become her." Shout out to the child. Yes, they did. They did learn from my mistakes. Yes, they did. Thank God. Thank God. Thank the universe. But I'm going to close out this video. Thank everyone for coming in. Like and share the video. I don't care how disturbed it is or how triggering it is. If you don't want to share it, you don't have to. Just like and share the video, or make your own video. Do reaction video to this video. I employ my young black women to do reaction videos and say, look, we don't want to become the next Arabia Barbosa. Arabia Barbosa is trapped. Trapped. There's no escape. I'm in another prison. Even though I'm not in a physical jail or physical penitentiary, my inmate number will be 30 years old and a few more months. I'm still living. Shout out to the chat.